Okay, hi everyone. This lesson is supposed to be a makeup for the lesson that was disrupted on Thursday. For the other class, this can serve as a revision of what we covered on Friday. Okay, so the objective of this lesson is to complete the second part of our paragraph development activity, right? And we are going to be using one of the debate arguments to craft a full body paragraph. For the essay question, should sportsmen represent countries other than their own? But to do that, we will look first at a sample paragraph. Okay, so an argument essentially contains your main point. As what you did in your debate, you stated your main point, you gave some explanation, and you need to support with concrete evidence. Okay, not many supported their debate points with concrete evidence, but that's fine for the purposes of the debate. But in a written argument, you need to have a concrete evidence to strengthen your argument. Okay, so let's look at this sample paragraph. For the essay question, examine the extent to which honesty in professional sports is valued. I hope you have your worksheet A with you containing the sample paragraph. And this is really a revision because we did cover this in class, right? Okay, so the main point here is that the value of honesty in professional sports has been eroded due to the political agendas of countries. So your main argument always has to be a line of reasoning. And the reason here is due to the political agendas of countries, the value of honesty in sports has been eroded. Okay? So you need to explain your main point because there are certain key terms that are pretty vague, too general, right? For example here, what do you mean by political agenda? In what way has the value of honesty eroded? Right? What exactly do you mean by that? It's impressive language, but it needs to be clarified. So let's look at how these terms were explained in the next few sentences. Okay? So the first one says here, several countries in the world use professional sports as a means to prove their superiority. Okay? Countries trying to prove their superiority has to do with political reasons, political agendas. So this is your explanation. Why do I say that it has been eroded due to political agendas? Well, because they're trying to prove their superiority. So that is now clarified, right? Okay, so how does this link to the value of honesty being eroded? Well, because they want to prove their superiority, therefore they resort to underhanded methods. So that's what I mean, or that's what the author means when she said that the value of honesty in sport has been eroded. Okay? It is on the downfall because they're using underhanded methods. This shows that no one values honesty anymore. Okay? So essentially, the line of argument is this. Because of political agendas, the value of honesty in professional sports has been eroded. And to explain what political agendas are and how the value of honesty in sport has eroded, you clarify, right? And in your clarification, the line of argument is maintained. They're trying to prove their superiority and therefore they resort to underhanded methods. Okay? So the next part is really to support your claims with concrete evidence. Because you said that several countries are trying to prove their superiority, then you need to illustrate this with a few different contexts. Definitely more than one, because you said several countries, right? You can't just say several, you can't say several countries and then give only one country as an example. Okay? And because you said underhanded methods, then you have to cite more than one of these methods. Okay? So let's look at this example. What is the underhanded method that is being described in this example of the Chinese shuttlers? Okay, so the underhanded method here is match fixing, right? Match fixing meaning that they have predetermined the outcome of the match and they deliberately lost their quarterfinal match so that in the semifinals, the Chinese team wouldn't have to face another Chinese team and they can face an American team. Okay? And why did they do that, right? This doesn't show how they're trying to prove their superiority. You're just trying to describe the underhanded method. So you need to explain the political agenda, the need to prove the superiority. Let's see how this was explained in the next sentence. Okay, they did this in order to boost the medal tally against the US. Okay, so this need to show that they are better than the US team, okay, because it will be in the record, right? It will show that the Chinese team faced the US team and the Chinese team won. So they're quite confident that they were going to win. And they're just trying to prove the superiority. So this shows the reason for why they did this. Okay, so again, it follows the same line of reasoning. The desire to boost the medal tally against the US compelled them to participate or to pursue this match fixing, right? Okay, so the next few sentences really just help to tie your entire argument together. It's to reiterate your point. Okay, it's to show the reader that you have not lost the line of argument. And you're reiterating your main argument. Okay, so in your sample paragraph, you will see another example, the one on Russia. And that's good because, as we mentioned, you need more than one context, more than one country, because you said several countries do this. Okay, so in the Russian example, the political agenda there is that they want to prove, they want to use sports as propaganda to prove that they are a strong country, right? To bring a much needed confidence boost to Russians in general. Because if maybe they're trying to prove that, since we're good in sports, it shows that we have the resources to train these people. We are a good nation and we can show our strength in many different areas. And this desire led to them taking part in a national doping system or employing a national doping system, which is the underhanded method. So the political agenda is a little bit different. The underhanded method is different, okay, but the line of reasoning is the same. So the line of reasoning is the same throughout this paragraph. The paragraph is tied together by the same line of reasoning, whether in the overarching argument, in the explanation of the topic sentence, and in the illustrations, right? In the illustration of the Chinese shuttlers, and the illustration of the Russian track and field team. It is political agenda compelling sportsmen, countries to resort to underhanded methods. Okay? So That is how you develop your paragraph. You clarify, you state your main point, you provide explanation by clarifying, and you support your claims with concrete evidence, all throughout sticking to the same line of reasoning. Okay, so let's apply this to the essay question of whether sportsmen should represent countries other than their own. Okay, so we're going to be using this debate point that was raised. One of the groups said that yes, sportsmen should represent countries other than their own because foreign athletes can serve as motivation for local athletes so that these local athletes can aspire to work towards the same level of performance as these foreign-born athletes. At the same time, because local athletes can learn from them. And the evidence is Singapore Table Tennis Association, which brings in a lot of foreign talents. Okay, so we're going to turn this main argument into a viable topic sentence, which is relevant, true, significant, and precise. Okay, the main thing here is significant. So we said that in a topic sentence, in your main argument, you need to have a broader scope. You need to be impacting more than, you need to be impacting a lot more people, or the impact has to be greater. So in this case, the impact is only on the local athletes, is only on the team, right? How do you make the impact greater such that it involves, let's say, an entire nation? Okay. So think about what would happen, okay, if local athletes do not have the motivation. What would happen if they cannot win in international competitions? What's going to happen to that sport? Do you think that the country will have any interest in that sport? Do you think that the country would inspire future sportsmen to pursue that sport? Okay, so there are bigger impacts, right, to this lack of motivation. Okay, so therefore, your argument for why sportsmen should represent countries other than their own also has a potential to be more significant. So let's look at this topic sentence. Importing foreign sportsmen could potentially boost the morale of countries struggling to succeed and inject life into their national sports scene. I want you to think about that for a minute. Think about whether you agree with this. Okay. Okay, so what we're gonna do, okay, I need you to explain the keywords and the phrases in this TS, in this topic sentence, which require clarification. Okay, you need to think about what are the key ideas here in the first place that you need to be able to explain. Okay, think about that and answer it in the next slide.